Hi there beautiful teachers, Nicola Canton here from Colourful Keys and Vibrant Music Teaching, and in this video I want to give you some teaching tips for the piece Morning Bounce, which is a grade 1 level piece by Bernard Geary. So the first thing to work on in this piece, in my opinion, is the rhythm, and I'd like to do that before we even touch the piece with the student, before we even look at the music. So I've prepared this sheet for you. This will take you through the rhythm exercises and the technical preparation that we're doing today. When we're doing the rhythm exercises, I recommend either moving away from the piano to a table or something like that, or just closing over the piano lid. So that's what we'll do here, so that we have our own little table here. Now, as I said, I wouldn't even be showing the notation to my student at this stage, just the rhythm notation that I have on this sheet that I prepared for you. Again, there's a link down below to that. So the thing to work on here is the difference between the different patterns, and also in general, the pattern of dotted quaver, semi-quaver. An examiner or someone listening to this performance with an analytical ear, someone with the score in front of them, is going to be thinking about whether it sounds like just swung quavers, or whether it genuinely sounds like a dotted quaver and a semi-quaver. Those are different things, and we need to show that distinction. Our student needs to understand that difference. So a simple way to think about it, and to sometimes explain it to students who are struggling, is to say that the semi-quaver basically comes just before the next note. Obviously that's not very exact, but it does help them to get how late it is, because the dotted quaver is a bigger chunk than most of them will realize. So the first thing we'll do with this is just clap the right hand part and then clap the left hand part, nice and easy. You can do that while counting, or especially with a piece like this where we have dotted quavers and semi-quavers, I recommend doing Kadai syllables. So this would be tim ka tim, instead of saying one-y and a two-y, etc. I find that easier to say, and therefore it's easier to do, and therefore it's more memorable for our students. So timka would be the pattern of dotted quaver, semi-quaver, and then semi-quavers on their own obviously would be ka. And what else do we have here? Ta, tu is what I would say for the minims. You could say ta, a, doesn't really matter. But doing that, especially when you're working on one line at a time, will be very helpful. Then you get them to tap it with both hands. So tim, ka, ta, tu, for example, would be that first bar there. And I would say just based on which one we need to focus on. So if they're together, you don't need to say the ta, tu in that case, or you can, as I say, count it out, and that way it'll be working on both hands at the same time. Practice that lots of times, tapping it. Make sure your student can do it without you, completely independently. Get them to practice it at home, and make sure they can do it the first time around without your help. When you get to that stage, then you can move on and start playing it on the piano. So let's open this back up again. And I would get them to play it just on any two notes. This piece happens to be in F major-ish, so I would go with notes from that key. So perhaps C in the left, F in the right, or vice versa. So tim, ka, ta, tu would be that bar again. Or you could do two Fs, etc. So you're just playing it on one repeated note. It helps them to transfer that tapping to the piano without forgetting about the rhythm, because they're so focused on playing notes. Now, once they're really comfortable with these two rhythm patterns, that's when I would introduce them to the music, and I would have them first do a bit of I Spy, right? Find those patterns in that. So where is this bar? Where is that bar? You could even photocopy the piece and have them color them in, color code them. By the way, I'm not suggesting that you photocopy it and use it as their main score. They need to have the book. But photocopying a piece just to do a score study is a great activity, and then you can keep it in their folder for later or along with the piece here. So have them maybe color all of the ones that look like this bar blue, all of the ones that look like the next bar green, etc., so that they can see that they've already tackled all of this rhythm. None of it is new. And then they can apply it to the actual piece. So that is distinctly different from the first bar, right? Because there's that extra note in there. There's not the tie. So that's why all that preparation we've done for rhythm is going to be so, so useful. Now, to prepare your student for the technique, there's not too many big technical challenges in this piece at this level. The main thing I would want to get across to my student is the key of F, the blue note in F, which would be A flat. There are other chromatic notes used, but that's the main one to get across at this stage. And the left hand pattern, this one. Right? That's not difficult to play, but it's good to get it into your student's ear before they start the piece. So this is a great opportunity to do some improvisation with your student. I would teach them that pattern that I just played for you there. Ignore the rest of the left hand in the piece, and just teach them the ending as well. So you're going to teach them that pattern. They're going to repeat that as many times as possible, as they like rather, and then when they want it to be the end, they finish off the pattern and land on F again, and then a low F. Simple, easy way to finish a piece. Land on the tonic, down low. And that's actually how this piece finishes, so how convenient. So they do that, and you improvise very simply. It doesn't have to be fancy, guys. If you're not an improviser, that doesn't matter. You just stick with the F scale and throw in a few A flats, the blue note, and you'll be away to the races. It doesn't have to sound amazing. Etc. So they're playing that part, you're playing the top part, and then you swap roles, show them the F major scale if they don't know it already, and then introduce them to the blue note as well, so that sometimes you can play A, sometimes you can play A flat, because this is a special kind of the F scale. And that gets them into the modality of the piece, getting used to how it sounds and sort of the scenery of it before they do it, and also while they're working on it as well, so they have a deeper understanding. So I really hope those tips will help you to prepare morning bounce with your students. It's a really fun piece, and it should be really fun to play for them once they get all these elements in place. The main thing is the rhythm, and a bit of improv would help along the way as well. You can download this sheet on my website. I'll leave a link below, and I hope you have fun with it. Let me know if you have any questions.